Okay, and that creates a much deeper sort of interaction, and this create much better sort of public image to the brand. And of course, again, we've stressed about this particular thing before. The reliance, okay, on technology, especially if you have the resources and the capability of putting everything into a website that are able to be cross-sectionalized, communicate with other tools and other platforms within social media, then you can have a one-stop center where people can go to get information and get to know your product and services much better. Okay? And this has created, right, a lot of, this has led to a lot of marketers to basically go for this particular strategy as an important part in terms of how they realize, right, their marketing ambition. In other words, when it comes to how people do marketing right now in today's business, a lot of it is centered around the usage of social media as a marketing tool. Right? And it is not just in developed market that we see social media being used in order to propagate marketing. This can also be seen in a lot of developing markets as well. And the reason is very simple. When you employ or when you use social media for marketing, the barriers to entry is not that much. Right? It is not as prohibitive as trying to use traditional media outlets in order to do marketing. And you must realize that traditional media is very expensive, right? Just if you look at the US market, for example, right? Right now is of course the NFL, the football season is going on. And in terms of many accounts, from the media point of view, you find that this will be the least popular NFL season in the last 30 years. Not many people are watching American football right now in the US market. Yet, when it comes to traditional marketing, one of the most used platforms to promote products and services in the US is of course the National Football League. Right? There is a saying, right, in American media, right? The NFL took a day that used to belong to the church and make it their own, Sunday. Right? Sunday used to be a day where Americans used to go to church. Now, their church are the gridiron, the stadiums in the US to watch American football. Right? But now, that particular situation is not as robust or as popular as what it was 20 or 30 years ago. And of course, the highlight of every NFL season is of course the Super Bowl, the grand final, where two teams will meet in order to fight for the NFL championship. And during the halftime show of that particular event, that is still until today the most expensive airtime in the world. Right? We are talking about a 30-second slot for the halftime show can cost you around 5 to 25 million US dollars. We are talking about 30 seconds worth of airtime. That's how expensive it is. Okay? And that is prohibitive. Right? If you want, for example, how prohibitive even Apple can't afford to do a lot when it comes to the Super Bowl advertisement. Back in the days, in the 1980s, for example, back in 1984, Apple created one of the most iconic Super Bowl halftime advertisement, right, about their product. It was so expensive in 1984 that Apple only able to air that particular advertisement once in their lifetime. Only once. And we are talking about Apple here. It was prohibitive for them. Imagine how prohibitive it is for other organizations and other companies. Right? And that gives you a picture of how difficult it is for you to do stuff using traditional media. But using social media, it is different. It's much cheaper, easier to manage, and you can do more. Alright? For example, social media can enable direct purchase. Right? Look at how accommodating tools such as Facebook and Instagram is towards e-commerce, for example. Right? Through social media, you can create a database easily using subscription to an email newsletter, so you can get information about your customer easily. Don't need to do expensive $1 million market research just to get those information, right? Just start an email newsletter program and boom, you can get those information in matter of seconds. Alright? Number 3, same thing as well, registration in an online community, as easy as setting up a website. Right, and linking that particular website to a social media channel, and then you can get tons and tons of information about your customer. And of course, using all of this, you can also create venues where people can participate in events, right? And again, all of this can be done easily and quite cheaply when you use social media versus actual traditional media. Right? And you find that more and more companies are going towards all of this rather than relying on traditional media to get their messages across. Okay? And not just for, and it is not just meant for organizations or enterprises that do it for profit. A lot of non-profit organization is also or is also involved with social media marketing. Look at how many non-profit are using Facebook, for example, to get your likes. Right? Look at how many non-profit organizations out there is using social media to showcase their activities and their things that they are doing within the community. Right? And all of this again points out to that particular characteristics of social media. And the most important characteristic again, shared interest. Right? Once you have a community that respond to the thing or the same thing well, it is much easier for you to put in content, to tell them about things, to get them to respond about things. Right? And as marketers, you must understand this. Right? Your ability to know how to use shared interest as a marketing proposition, right? As a unique selling proposition for products and services is very important. Right? In today's world, we are not just looking at marketing as just a wordplay or something that you do in order to satisfy needs and whatever that means. You can say that 10,000 times, it means almost nothing now. Right? What is real are these things, right? And these are the 3 features that social media marketing has that will always make it worthwhile for any organization to invest time and other resources on it. Number 1, it creates a buzz, a sense of realization about the importance of certain things. Whether that sense of importance is associated with the brand, with the product, or with the services. Through social media, you can emphasize things easily. Right? You can magnify whatever it is that you want to say to other people, and have it and amplify the effect easily as well, right? The creation of this particular thing, the feedback loop, right, is much more effective using social media, right? It creates ways for customers or fans to engage in conversations with each other and the organization. This is also very important. What do we mean by conversations? We are talking about engagement. We are talking about interaction. Traditional marketing is very passive in nature. You say something, but the audience cannot say anything back. But in social media, whatever you put out, there can be a response from the audience. The audience not just can respond to it, they can also share it with other members of the audience that might not realize it. In other words, you are putting your content in the hands of other people that are willing to talk about you. And that is very important. Why? When they talk back, you get information. And from information, you can use it to streamline, to make your activities, to make your strategy much better in the future. And number 3, it allows customers to promote the firm's messages themselves. In other words, social media marketing is a method of doing marketing whereby you essentially outsource some of your marketing functions to your customer. Rather than you doing everything yourself, your customers are doing the marketing for you. And not only are they doing it for you, they are doing it happily for you. They are happy to share. They are willing to share. And why is that willingness to share exist? Here, shared interest. Whenever you can tap into the shared interest or this particular social factor, your marketing effort will become much more impressive in that sense. Right? Imagine the amount of money, if you are an organization, that you can save when other people is doing your marketing work for you. And that's what happens when you do your social media marketing effectively. Right? And many organizations are enjoying that particular benefit. Right? And to see how, right? And to see how this particular thing is being done, let us first explore both the consumer and the business behavior part that leads to this particular proliferation, right, of social media marketing. Number one, let's look at the consumer behavior, right? Now you find that when people buy stuff, when people shop for products and services, they no longer refer to other people. They no longer ask around other people. What do they use to get information? They use search engines to do so. Why? Because the amount of information that you can get from Google, for example, is far more impressive than any form of information that you can get from a salesperson, right? Or from a shop, right? Or from a storefront, or even from a brochure or a catalog, right? Nothing can challenge the amount of information that you can get from Google, right? And not only that, these search engines are now becoming more and more advanced in features that you can use them to compare products, to compare prices, to compare availability of products. And so another factor that we haven't discussed yet that also playing a role is the factor of convenience. Alright? And social media marketing, in terms of how it relates to consumer behavior, you find that consumers now are much more in tune towards that particular idea of convenience. They want that particular convenience, and they can get this particular convenience through social media marketing. And because of this reliance on convenience, you find that their behavior has changed. Right? Rather than becoming a sort of person that waits for information, customers now become much more proactive. An acute example of the proactivism of customer, look at the current problem that Apple is facing right now. What is the major problem that Apple is facing right now? For the first time ever in 10 years, right, since the year 2007, for the first time ever this year, they launched their latest iPhone and their share price actually dropped. Usually every year, starting from 2007, every time they launch a new phone, the share price of Apple would increase exponentially with that particular launch. Why is it that for this year, for the iPhone,